With this, I welcome our third, last but not the least speaker, Dr. Gauri Karve. Dr. Gauri Karve is a distinguished semiconductor research and development leader, currently serving as scientific director at the Inter-University Microelectronics Center, imec. She oversees cutting-edge advancement in shortwave IR imaging and sensing, hybrid integration solution, and specialty component integration, driving innovation at the intersection of optics and semiconductor technologies. Academically accomplished, Dr. Karve holds a PhD in electrical and computer engineering from the University of Texas at Austin and a master in physics from IIT, which is Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay. She began her illustrious career at Freescale Semiconductors, cementing her expertise in semiconductor device innovation. Before joining imec, Dr. Karve held a pivotal role as senior manager of test electrical physical characterization and metrology at IBM Research in New York. She was instrumental in diverse cutting-edge technological advancement, contributing to transformation in the higher performance computing arena. She is a senior member of IEEE, has authored over 40 plus peer-reviewed publications, and holds an impressive portfolio of 60 plus US patents, reflecting her profound impact on the field of microelectronics. Her keynote will focus on risk and opportunities in relation to artificial intelligence and gender equity. Welcome, Dr. Karve.
Thanks for the introduction, Nimita. And yeah, please send me a copy of the bio. It's so well written. So many adjectives. I can hardly recognize myself in it. Okay, so it's really difficult to be the last in this session after two fantastic speakers. I mean, yeah, I'm absolutely humbled. Like, such power. Oh my goodness. Yes, they definitely woke up the audience. So that's good. So yes, I'm Gauri, as Nimta madam said. Before I start, I just want to give my sincere thanks to Gayatri Manikutti and the conference organizers for this opportunity. It really is a once-in-a-lifetime chance for me to get on this stage with our VIPs. So yes, I'm from Leuven right now. imec, that's the little picture. And we don't have a laser pointer, right? So we just imagine what I'm talking about. So the talk is about diversity in AI and women in STEM. So I've been as a woman in STEM for about 20 years now. So a lot of the information in the beginning is from my own perspective, as well as some numbers. And I think all of us know the numbers by now, so I'll go very fast over them. And then we can discuss how AI bias, and how diversity plays a role in all of this. And obviously, at the end of it, there is an action item for all of us. Okay. So it's very hard to see, but that is map of the world. It turns out it's really, the background is too light. Anyway, so I'm from Kalyan, India. I did my bachelor's and master's in Bombay. And I have a ton of animation. And see, it's going too fast. Anyways, I did my PhD from UT Austin, and then worked at IBM as well as imec, which is in Leuven. Okay, 1 second. Wait, I can see there. Okay, no point. All right. So basically, while growing up, especially in high school, when I realized that I like physics, I like mathematics, things got a little complicated because asking questions was not part of the culture at all. And being a woman, my goal was always just fade in the background, that nobody should notice you, and that's how it was. But it meant I was completely lost because I had questions and nobody to ask the questions to. And it was a very difficult time to figure out what do I do next, right? What helped me keep going forward are the mentors and very early role models from the college as well as from IIT. And it's thanks to people like them that they give the student a confidence, right? It's okay to ask questions. It's okay if you don't know what you're talking about. No problem at all. But I think these early role models are really important, especially in the formative years for students, high school to early graduate students, because that's when you sort of decide what to do with your life, right? More or less. Oh, sorry. Okay. Then I moved to United States, which was a really big move for me. I did not know anybody in the States. Of course, I was really scared. And I think you will see there is a lot of resonance in the messages that we are giving as a panel. Because then I had parents who believed in me. And it's the case where you borrow my belief till you find your own. And that's what keeps you going, basically. And that is true for parents as well as the advisor in PhD, because yes, I mean, you really want to give up as soon as you begin. But you have to keep going. And people like your close-knit network and role models, again, just emphasizing it again, that they become very pivotal in the path that you take, and just keep moving forward. So in my career, I have been in the industry for about 20 years. This is my 20th year, in fact, completely in the industry. When I started, I thought, fine, you start as an entry-level engineer, then you become junior, then you become senior engineer, and so on and so forth, right? Ladder. But obviously, it's not a ladder. I think all of us know that. And then last week, for the first time, I played the game of Mario Kart with my kids. And I realized, hey, wait a second, that's what my career is. It's a game of Mario Kart. Because half the time, I'm not on the track. I'm on the wall, trying to get back on the track. There are obstacles, there are boosters, and most of the times I can't see the road. There is always a bend, obviously. And the one I can see is really scary. So I'm like, all right, okay, I got it. This is the epiphany. I'm in a game of Mario Kart. So usually, right now, I'm maybe one woman out of 10 to 15 men in any given meeting. I've had to change myself quite a bit to be able to have a voice and be heard. I have faced microaggression, a lot of bias, unconscious bias, and some of the stories are actually really funny. I don't have time for it right now, but at tea break, if anybody is interested, I can tell you a couple of them. Of course, the work-life balance is an inherent part of who we are. And again, with the help of your colleagues, your partner, your family, your friends, you just keep going and just keep going. So that's how it has been so far. The reason why, okay, no, that's for the next slide, sorry. So that's all my experience, right? We'll look at the numbers. And this is what I will go through really quick. Because I think we have seen this data in at least 2 or 3 presentations before. The only point I want to make is that the representation of women in the STEM areas is much lower than in the non-STEM workforce. There is a growth, as you can see, in the last few years, but the growth is slow. And I think Swamiji also pointed out on Thursday, I think it's going to take us like 100+ years to reach any kind of parity in the STEM areas. So obviously, we are very slow. And the second graph I want you to look at is the drop to the top, as we call, right? From starting level all the way to C-suite or the CEO levels. And again, the drop is more pronounced in the STEM areas than any of the non-STEM areas. The reasons for this are a topic for a completely different conversation and discussion. So we will keep it aside for the moment, okay? So what does this have to do with the conference and the AI and so on and so forth? So before we go into that, I just want to ask, can you tell me when did you last used AI? All the time, exactly. See, this is a very intelligent crowd. When I made the slide, I'm like, oh, I'm going to wow them. Did you know Google has AI when they sort your email for promotions and social and your primary? Netflix, always you finish a movie, oh, you might also like blah, blah, blah movies. That's also AI. ChatGPT, Bing, of course we know. And then there are some areas where it's not obvious that we are using AI. Finances is one case like that, right? The way the companies are setting credit card limits, for example, there is AI involved, even in those. So there are a lot of subtle ways in which AI has completely penetrated our life, and it's just going to increase. Its roots are just going to go deeper and deeper. So because AI is machine based, you would think it's quite non-biased, because machines are logical, it's mathematics. I put 2 plus 2 in my calculator, I always get a 4. So that's how AI should be. But that's not the case. And the reasons will become obvious. Actually, no. I think you guys already know the reasons. So maybe I'll ask a quiz. So I have a lot of examples for biases in AI. I know we don't have a lot of time, so I'll just go into a couple of them. And also there is in the exhibition hall, there is a beautiful corridor for cognitive biases. Please do visit, because they have covered some of the examples as well. So I think all of us are familiar with the AI recruiting tool. Amazon implemented this tool a few years ago. And guess what? It started downgrading female resumes over male resumes. And the reason was the input to the model, the database, it contained 10-year database of resumes from successful employees. Most of them were men, of course. And so the algorithm ended up downplaying the word woman in the resume. Amazon actually pulled out the tool because they realized there is no easy fix for it. They pulled it out. And examples go on and on. Just one example I want to point out is the translator, Google Translator. So whenever you go from a language which is not gender sensitive to a gender sensitive language, the bias really comes up to the surface. So when you go from, in this case, example of Hungarian to English, the nurse, the homemaker, the cook is always she, the pronoun she. And the doctor, the leader, thinker, clever is always he. And why it happens, I will get to it in my next slide. Okay, healthcare, I'm going to skip it for the moment. Yeah, but if anybody is interested, let me know, because I have references at the bottom of it. Then you can go read it up yourself too. So how does this bias creep into AI? It's, again, it's an extremely deep topic. And of course, I'm by no means an expert at all of it. So I did what an engineer does best. I summarized it. And that is the one. Like, if you don't know what to do, okay, let's create a word cloud. That should help. So there are a lot of reasons for it, as I think all of us are aware of. But one thing that kind of stuck with me was a word embedding and the culture. So the way it works is the following. Let's assume that there is a large language model, right? And Manisha left, but there are a couple of Google employees here. They should keep me honest. What happens is you feed a whole bunch of text to the model, right? And to each word, the model assigns a numerical value. Think of it as a vector or a coordinate. Okay? If two words are occurring close to each other more often, then in numerical space, they're closer to each other. So if I ask the model, Rome is to Italy and Paris is to what? It's going to go back to the algorithm and look for the close neighbors. And then it finds Italy. France. Yeah, see? Anyway, so France, right? So that's how it works. And now if I put in, there is a man is to engineer, then the model comes up with woman is to homemaker. Because in all the text that we have fed to it, which is basically the state of our current society, those are the closer words in numerical sense. And that's just an example of word embedding, but how the data that we are feeding into it is also creating or permeating the social bias into it as well. And the problem is not just that it's mirroring the bias in the society. In some cases, it's amplifying it. And that's obviously a bigger problem. Okay, so a lot of ways to reduce this. There are a lot of technical solutions. The zero out the biases. Also, when the algorithms are created, it's good to focus on how accurate the model is, but also how fair the model is. So there are a lot of things one can do technically speaking. There are auditing that has to happen before any release, or the ethics, AI ethics, which is of course a pretty big topic right now. I mean, today if I go to the shop and if I want to buy turmeric, I want to buy a turmeric which has that ISO brand on it, right? And here we are using AI left, right, and center with absolutely no checks and balances. But hopefully that will change in future. Model transparency, AI literacy, again, another actions which are taking place, and diverse workforce, of course. So there are studies which have shown that quantitatively and qualitatively, companies which have more diverse workforce, they perform better. Even their return on investment is better. Similarly, in the AI world, I found a paper which said that if the teams are more diverse, there is potential to reduce the algorithmic bias in AI. It's not just enough to have developers as women, but we also need women at higher levels, because that's where decisions are made, right? So having women at the right tables is really important. And as was pointed out, the percentage of women reduces significantly as you go up. Again, why that happens is a separate topic, which I'm really passionate about. So now comes the call for action. Everybody has a role to play, whether you are the educator or a parent or a workplace or an employer. Each one of us has to take the responsibility for what is it that is in my sphere of influence to help reduce disparity. And I think, yeah, I'm going to go to the next page. See, I'm paying attention to time. One more thought I want to kind of bring it out there. Of course, the conference is for gender, we discuss it, but it's not just a question of gender equity. It's just adding extra women to that table or the groups is not going to help. What we are really looking for is diversity of thought. And the diversity of thought comes from different experiences, different age groups, different nationalities, and so on. So that's one perspective. It's better not to get very, what is it called, one-tracked. When we talk about gender equity, but we have to be aware of other aspects of it, which are equally important. So I think of AI actually as a fire, right? You can boil a pot of milk with it, or you can burn down a building. It's up to you. It's a tool, and it's up to us to decide on how we are going to use it. Imagine like 30 years from now, if the AI tools have used the data from the past, and that's how they are going to treat women. But is that what we want? Because that will not be the reflection of the society at that time. So there is a real danger here of us moving backwards rather than moving forwards at all, as we rely more and more on the AI. So again, AI does have potential to promote fairness, and because there are so many different ways to correct for the bias, I personally think it's easier to fix the bias in AI than it is to fix bias, unconscious bias in human beings. So we might be better off actually with, fixing the AI and get it to be as fair as possible. So that's at least my hope. But then the question remains that with all these efforts, right, are we really moving fast enough? And are we going to be able to catch that train before it completely goes off at a different track? And last is just my thanks to people that I have discussed with, my family helped me with the animation, a lot of it. And I want to dedicate this to Rama, who has been my mentor for last 14 years since I entered IBM. And I owe my career as a woman in STEM completely to this person, because he was the champion for women in STEM. Thank you.